Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum
Oh,
bum
mate,
bum
I'm
bum.
bum.
Man, 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 man. Bum 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 bum.
Go on, let's join in. Man, bum, bum, bum. Bash Bros.
Is the mohawk done?
Yeah, well, basically, Ellis has decided that I need to look like a tramp forever. I bought some clippers to shave it off, and she won't fucking do it, lazy bag. So I reckon it's because she's trying to limit the amount of bitches in my DMs. She's obviously
Have you got a motorbike, Dan?
trying to throw it off. And no, mohawk.
No, have you got a motorbike now? Because it literally looks like you've got like a Lego crash helmet on. Look at that Lego hair.
I mean, it'll help me out in the long run, you know. Usually when I'm walking the streets, girls are just throwing their biff juice at me, you know. So save me from getting wet.
You wish, man.
Yeah. Everything Anth says comes in a question.
Does it, fuck?
He says, he'll say like, "Oh, Flex Lewis, you know, he's looking
Well,
mighty
that's
large,
in
isn't he?"
Scotland.
I'm like, "What do you mean looking mighty large, isn't he? Are you asking me or are you telling me?"
I'm asking you, what do you think?
He's a crazy fucker, isn't he?
Like, what option?
You sound like a Serbian.
Yeah, well, he sounds like it to me. I can't tell what he is.
To be fair, even in the UK, Anth, for about a year, I was doing check-ins with Anth, and he was ringing me, and I put down the phone, and my missus looked at me, and she was like, "You don't know what he said, do you?" And I was like, "I have no I hope there's an email to back this up. I have no fucking
Yeah. See, I'm not the only one. He mumbles.
Special. But listen, this is the problem. We'll get this out of the way now, okay? I have like a hybrid accent from like 2 towns, so that's why it sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, from Scotland.
No, I'm nowhere near Scotland, Jose. It's like
you took
5 hours away. I didn't take you to Scotland.
You took
I
me
took
to
you
a
to a
castle.
castle. It wasn't Scotland. It wasn't Scotland. It was
The only castles are in Scotland. That's a fact.
Now, Dan will know where Downton Abbey is on. Dan won't know that one. Yeah, you know that straight away.
Yeah. In Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
it was that place. I can't. Is it Alnwick or some shit? I don't know. I can't remember. It wasn't Scotland though. Definitely wasn't Scotland.
You said it was close.
Nah, it was about 3 hours away. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's close in US terms.
Yeah, 3 hours is nothing.
Back to Bash Bros podcast, episode 27. This week we have 2 guests that need no introduction. One of which we previously had on, but we couldn't hear a word he said. So we
due to the audio, can we just get that right? Due to the audio, not the accent.
Okay.
Yeah, both reasons. But he now has headphones, and and Jose's joined us. He's politely taken a break from the bar to come down and spend some time with us. Thank you for joining, bud. Fairly straightforward one. We just jump straight into some questions, I suppose. I know Jack was keen on this one, being a lifetime natural, and he has some very eager questions for you personally, as well as the ones we've had online. So do you want to start off, Jack?
So firstly, thanks for coming on, Jose. I know am I right in saying that you turned pro naturally? Is that correct?
Yeah, 4 different times.
So just any advice for people in terms of like how long would they wait before sort of jumping on and getting assisted? Like what made you why did you make the decision to go assisted? And why did you wait so long too? Because obviously you were aware that you were competing against people that were assisted, yet you still carried on. Because how many times did you compete before getting your before winning the pro card, or before you had even turned it down initially?
Well, I'll start with just telling you the story of where I started. I was always a big kid. I was short, but always heavy, always heavily muscled. I started weight training very young. Weight training was not something I wanted to do to be a bodybuilder, but more of a stress relief, a way to fight my demons, and to get better for high school football, which in the States is football with a helmet and a football, not soccer. So I was a big kid already, and my older brother was a national level competitor, and he convinced me to do a show when I was 18, and I did it, and I won, and it was in front of a few thousand fans, and it was huge, and I fell in love with the feeling where I didn't depend on a quarterback, I didn't depend on teammates or a coach or anything. It was just me, and it was something I loved, and I didn't have to rely on anyone else. So I continued to do it. I started competing, and my brother was a natural bodybuilder, and he was one of the best in the country. So that's who I looked up to. I didn't look up to Arnold and Sean Ray or any of those guys because that was unrealistic to me. I wanted to be like my brother. He was incredible. And, as the years went on, I was getting closer and closer to that type of physique. And in fact, I was a little rounder, bigger than him. Even though I weighed a little less, I'm 4 inches shorter than him. So our goal was to be the best natural bodybuilders in the country, if not the world. And back then we had the Muscle Mania that was on ESPN, and we both won. I won that. I won the overall on ESPN. It was huge. And then the next step from there was the Team Universe. And if you won the Team Universe, you would go to the World Championships, and you would have your opportunity to be the best in the world. So I won the Team Universe twice, but it was the hardest show to win back then, especially in the lighter weight classes. I won the USA and the Nationals multiple times before I won the Team Universe. That's how difficult that show was. And I finally won the Universe and went to the World Championships, and I got slapped in the face at the World Championships. I thought it was a natural show. I showed up at the World Championships, and that was the year that Dennis Wolf won the overall. He was 250 pounds of steel, and I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be natural, and I mean, it may have been tested to a certain degree, but they play with their own rules there. If you have a delegate on the judging panel, there's so many little things that matter. I showed up backstage, and you remember Baito Abaspor?
Yeah.
He was in my weight class. We were both welterweights. And, he looked at me and he was like, it's going to be me and you. And like by then I had already been in magazines. I'm backstage taking pictures with a lot of the guys in my class, and they knew who I was. And it was a pretty cool experience. So I'm like confident. By this point, I'm winning every show I'm doing. I'm like, I'm going to win this show too. And I'm looking around at the guys. I'm like, nobody's harder than me. There might be a couple of guys a little rounder, but they're not in better condition. And we didn't have an American delegate on the judging panel. So I end up not even getting in the first call up. I'm like, wait a minute. And I end up placing 8th. And I was just mind fucked. I'm like, all right, maybe I shouldn't have won, but 8th, this is weird. And then, it was just left such a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm like, all right, whatever. My next step is to put on a little more weight, move up a weight class. And I did the Nationals as a middleweight. And I won that. And that was the same year they introduced the 210-pound division. Is that a dog?
Yeah, sorry, my dog's going ape shit.
Oh, all right.
I'll mute myself.
No, that's all right. I like dogs. So, yeah, I won the Nationals as a middleweight, and they had a pro division finally for smaller guys. and or lighter guys. So I took my pro card that time. I went on to compete in my first pro show, which was the New York Pro. And I thought, just like any other year, I come in shredded, come in, be the best, I'll be very competitive. And that wasn't the case. You know, this was a whole different ball game. I was 184 pounds, in great shape, looked good, but I was just way too small. I was giving up 20 pounds to every guy. And I ended up placing 7th or 8th at that show. And then I had to really reevaluate. I was 34 years old. I'm like, I've done everything I can naturally. I know how to train. I know how to eat. I know how to diet. I know how to do everything. And there's that one last missing component that is separating me from the rest of the guys. And, you know, at 34 years old, I said, let's do it. And
so you placed 8th at the New York Pro naturally.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
And I was 184. So here's the great part. 3 months later, I did the Atlantic City Pro, and I almost beat Flex Lewis. I probably should have. It was I put 18 pounds of stage weight on in 3 months.
Fuck.
I was right at the limit at 202, and I was massive and shredded, and I was, it was this close between me and Flex, and we both went on to the Olympia, and Flex placed 5th and I was 6th at the Olympia that year. So I went from like being out of it to beating most of the guys that had beaten me previously that year.
In 3 months.
In 3 months. And I mean, that's a rarity. That's not going to happen for most people, because I had already had, 17 years of training under my belt. I already knew how to train. I knew how to diet. I knew how to prepare for competition. I just added that final component and my body exploded. And it was, minimal stuff that I had to use. And it was a game changer, I exploded, and then, I had done my homework of learning everything I could. So it was an educated decision. I wasn't a teenager or a 20-year-old kid saying, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to, and get all jacked. I knew what I was doing. I knew exactly what I was getting into. And, that was basically the story where I wanted to know as much as I could about it before I could make that decision. And I eventually went on and hired Chris Aceto, which was even better because Chris changed my nutrition significantly. I wasn't eating enough back then because if you recall, they changed 202 to 212. So that was 10 pounds I had to make up. And, now, shit, by the time I hired Chris, I was already 37, 38 years old. And I was going to try to put on 10 pounds of muscle at 38 years old. And the only way to do it was to change my nutrition. And it worked. I went from 202 to 210 on stage. And, it was a huge change in my career because I went from being a good pro, to being a freak, like 5'4", 210 pounds shredded is pretty wild to see,
So do you regret the story? Is there any part of it that you think that you would change if you went back? Would you have done it earlier?
It's a funny, no, I wouldn't change it because it's my life and that's what I chose. And I think I did the right thing. By waiting and learning my body as well as I could before making that decision. As I said, it was a highly educated decision. I thought a lot about it for many years. And, you know, sure, would I have been able to, I don't know. I don't know, because I would have had to compete in the open division. In the years prior to that, you know, Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler were the pinnacle of the sport. So even if I was 205, 210, I wasn't competing with Ronnie or Jay. You know, there was nothing for me to compete with. But once, you know, Kevin English, David Henry, Flex Lewis, they were the best of the best in my division. I'm like, I can do that. I know I can compete with that. And guess what? I eventually ended up beating every single one of them at one point or another. And, you know, so no, I don't regret having done, you know, that is something I thought of, like, maybe I could have gotten sponsorships earlier, made a little more money, but I did have sponsorships even as an amateur. So there's really nothing that would have changed, because that division didn't exist prior to that. You know, I think I played my cards right. I had a great career. I was able to make a name for myself and travel the world and see everything and compete everywhere. There's really nothing I could have changed. You know, Flex Lewis brought the best out of me for sure. I don't know if he hadn't competed, if I would have pushed as hard as I did to be at that level. You know, I really love the time and the era that I came up in, you know, and the group of guys that I was able to come up with David Henry and Eduardo Correa and Kevin English and Flex. It was crazy. I mean, that was a group of guys that were unreal and consistently unreal, you know? So we had to be at the top of our game. And a lot of us would flip-flop show to show. Me and Eduardo back and forth, beating each other. Me and David, same thing, back and forth. You never knew who was gonna be on top until Flex's later years, where it was a pretty much a conclusion that Flex was gonna win. But you never know which one of us was gonna sneak up and be second to him, you know?
The Flex is like a homegrown hero to us, because obviously we're Welsh. So back in the day when Flex was coming onto the scene, was that a beer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude. Yes, it was.
But yeah, Flex was like a homegrown hero. So for us, obviously, your name was in our mouths a lot. You know, we were all watching Flex come up, and he was battling with you and David Henry and the likes. You know,
and they all wanted you to lose. All of
Yeah. All the Welsh bastards.
Yeah, we'd be lying if we said no. But
What's happened to what has happened to Kevin English? I haven't seen him on the scene for a while now.
Yeah, I think Kevin's just focused on business. He's a trainer at Bab's gym, and you know, I think he's doing very well for himself. He obviously doesn't compete anymore. He's a few years older than me, so he's probably your age, and
75.
he's well washed up, you know. No, last I saw, Kevin was still big, looked great, still doing his thing. You know, you can't compete forever, so he's just focusing on business.
What about Dave Henry? Is he officially retired yet or not? Or is he still going?
No, David's unbelievable. I talked to him the other day. He wouldn't send me any pictures, but he said he feels as good as he ever has. He's competing in Olympia.
Really?
Yeah. David's unreal, man. If he nails it, he's still a guy that can wipe out everyone. If he comes in peeled the way he can, I have no doubt that he can be nasty.
So who's going to be the top three for the 212 this year? I know it's a bit of a mishmash year, and it's been a bit of a shit year for bodybuilding. But somebody asked me this evening about the Open, and I was like, honestly, I don't even know who's doing it. To be fair, it's like who's actually doing the Open and the 212.
In the 212, I would have
Kamal's doing it.
Yeah, Kamal, George Peterson, and
I forgot about that guy.
What's that?
I forgot about that guy, George Peterson. Yeah,
George
is that the classic guy?
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. So what a lot of people don't know is George used to compete as a heavyweight bodybuilder before he turned pro. And then he sucked way down to do the classic. He won the overall at the Nationals as a classic competitor because he gets crazy hard. He's super round and he's so impressive that even though he didn't necessarily have the classic look, he was the most impressive person on stage. So he would win. But when it came to like the Olympia, the best he could do was third because he just looked too much like a bodybuilder. He didn't look what the look they were looking for. But now that he's in the 212, he's a little taller, but he has this uncanny ability to hold shit tons of muscle and still weigh 212. So even at 5'8", which he would be almost 5 inches taller than me, he would look, he still looks big. He's not going to look skinny. And he comes in so conditioned and he's very complete. So he's going to be hard to beat. Kamal, I think another thing that people don't really know is Kamal took a lot of time off. So even though he's older, he came back and he won the Olympia within 2 years of a comeback. So his first year of coming back, he won the Arnold and placed third at the Olympia. His second year back, he wins the Olympia. So now he's a third year back and he's a lot bigger. So, Chris Aceto showed me a few pictures from last year at this exact time. And last year, say he was like 214. This year on the exact same day, he's like 221, 222 at the exact same day, the same condition, crazy condition. So he's got, 3, 4, 5 pounds of tissue added coming into this Olympia.
We had we had Kamal on the podcast, and it was pretty evident that his genetics are just immense.
Wacky.
Yeah, I mean, he was saying he doesn't even get like big; he just kind of grows in, and the weight for him perfect. Like it's a perfect category for him. He doesn't have to like fluctuate too much. Like hits his zone. It's like just his body wants to do it.
Right. Yeah. In fact, he's probably in the off season when someone in that division might be 240, 250, like Flex used to be. This guy's probably walking around at 215, and then he'll blow up and get bigger and harder going into the show and be 230, 225, and then slowly come down. And he'll be, I think when he won, he was probably only 205 on stage. So this year he'll be 207, 208, 210, somewhere in there. That's impressive.
Yeah, he was saying he did say he was under when he won. He said he was under.
Yeah, he was. I know for a fact. So
he didn't look it.
No. He's, he's not as short as some of the other guys. I think he's 5'6", 5'7". He's Flex's height or maybe a smidge taller. But he's going to be hard to beat because he's so polished and he's got everything. He's got great presentation, great skin, all the attributes of a champion. And arguably, he's one of the greatest amateur bodybuilders of all time. He's won everything you could ever imagine to win. He just kind of snuck under the radar. People didn't know about him because he's a bit older. And then when he finally came in and competed, you can understand why he's got all those wins because he's unreal.
Well, he was saying when he started out, like the amateur leagues, there was actually more for him doing that. There was more opportunity, more he could win money on it. And like he said, it just wasn't worth it to step up at that point because the scene was so big, like where he was from. He was like, there was no point.
Yeah, I believe he was competing for Qatar.
Yeah.
And their government was paying him very well to just remain amateur and be a star amateur bodybuilder. I think they, paid for his house, paid for all his living expenses.
He was saying.
Yeah. So he had done very well. And then, once the professional division kind of expanded and, I think he was limited. I think a lot of political bullshit happened to him too. So he was able to navigate his way through that and get into the pro league and clearly do very well. So I think he's going to be very hard to beat. I think if anyone can do it, it would be George, because George has a similar mature muscle, very complete, very conditioned. And I think Derek is unbelievable. I'm just not sure what his physique is going to look like when it comes down to 212. And if he can have that same polished look to match George and Kamal.
We had Derek on as well, and it seemed fairly evident that he has to suffer so much to get the 212 that might not be a productive thing for him, really.
Yeah, I saw him a few months ago, probably less than 2 months ago, and he had to be every bit of 240, and he was striated everywhere. His quads were crazy, his back. He looked like he was a week out, 2 weeks out maybe. If he dropped his water, he would have been ready to roll. It wasn't long after the New York Pro that I saw him. And I'm like, dude, you drop your water and you probably could have won the New York Pro Open. He's that impressive in person. I just don't know what it's going to look like down 20 pounds.
Look down.
Yeah. Especially on a young person. When a young person sucks down that low, they don't have a whole lot left over. It's not popping through the skin because that dense muscle isn't there yet. There's no question in my mind within 2, 3, 4, 5 years, Derek could be a competitor in the Open Olympia and be dangerous. He's that good. His genetics are that good. His shape is that good. But right now, I'm still not drinking the Kool-Aid just yet. I'm a big fan of him, but I think these older guys with mature muscle can still edge him out. And guess what? If Clarita made any improvements from last year and Derek is off, then Clarita will beat Derek. So your top three might end up being Clarita, George, and Kamal. That makes it exciting because these guys are all very close. The top four, any one of them can beat each other if the right scenario happens, There's no runaway. It's not like Flex where it's a foregone conclusion. Flex is 89%. Flex is going to win. He'll find a way to win. These guys don't have that luxury.
Okay, so the Open, what's your thoughts on that?
Phil Heath, Phil, and Philip.
Has anybody seen any pictures of Phil? Just obviously the midsection is going to. Yeah, the midsection is going to be a question, isn't it? You know what I mean,
prime, man. He's in his prime. He's 40. I think
one of the guys tonight actually said he's 41 because I thought he was 37 for some reason.
37.
Yeah, once you get into that 4-0 bracket, things don't happen as magically. Nah.
Dude,
not mine anyway.
My best physique of all time was 41 years old. It's when I won the Arnold, when I was second at the Olympia. It was the greatest I've ever felt, biggest, hardest. Phil, it has two years of rest. He come back. And Phil's not someone who's squatting 700 pounds and deadlifting 800 pounds and incline pressing and heavy dumbbells. Phil's body responds to pumping exercises on machines. So it doesn't have damage in his joints. So this guy could go another fucking 10 years if he wants. Like, He
Yeah,
is
we hate
gonna
him.
be-
Yeah.
Huh?
We fucking hate him. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Jose's
nasty.
dropping the bits with like no hips and like smashed up elbows and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a mess because I grew up doing all those power movements, and you know, part of me wishes I didn't because I wouldn't have as many injuries. But I'm also not Phil Heath. You know, where I could get away with that. Phil's got a different DNA than everyone else. He's got different type of muscle belly, different type of insertions, different type of everything. And you know, I love Brandon Curry. I love his physique. I actually think his physique flows better than Phil. But when you put them next to each other, even if they weigh the same, Phil's going to look 20 pounds bigger because he's just so granite and sinewy, the way the muscle is. And you see every fiber on Phil. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. I would bet my house that Phil's going to win, you know?
All this talk of competing, is there ever going to be a comeback from Jose?
I don't know if I could come over and train with Anth, he could
Man,
show
you don't
me
want
how
to train with me now. Jesus Christ, you'd be doing like the classic physique. No
I need
disrespect
to-
to the classic physique guys. Actually, you've been sending me some pretty heavy training videos. So, what is the plan, Jose? You were throwing around some
Well-
big dumbbells a couple of days ago.
So for the last like 5 months, I did a little test run to see how my body would respond. I dieted every day. I was eating clean like 90% of the last 5 months. At night, I would have some ice cream or whatever, but 90% of the time I was perfect. I was doing a little cardio. I got to the point where I couldn't even do cardio anymore because I was dropping weight so fast. And I was getting pretty hard. I'm pretty hard right now. I'm only like 215, which Anth knows is very small for me. Like I would be a couple days after a show and be 235, like right away. And so I'm in really good shape. And my main concern was if I could bring my legs back, because I had a hip replacement almost 2 years ago now. And I've been able to train very well. I've actually surprised myself. So I know that I'm very motivated and inspired by the results that I've gotten in the last, 4 or 5 months. So I'm resting now. This is going to be my rest period during the holidays. And then I'm going to go balls out starting in the new year. And, I'll make that decision by March. If I'm on the right path, I'll probably do something as early as, the spring. I may, my first pro show ever was the New York Pro. It's a sentimental show to me because Bev and Steve promoted the Team Universe. I did 7 times as an amateur, and I did the New York Pro 5 times as a pro, winning it twice. So it's just a show, and it's local. I can drive to it. So I'm going to make that decision come right around March. And I'd love to say that I would do it. Right? So if I can, I will. I'd be very excited. I don't want to be that guy that's old and washed up and places way out of the mix.
So we better not release that as an exclusive then.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a worldwide exclusive, yeah?
Yeah. Well, everyone's asking me. No, I haven't committed to it 100% because I don't know what's going to happen. But if you know me and you know that it's on my mind, then it's likely going to happen. If I'm thinking about it, it means, and if I'm talking about it, it means it's likely going to happen. There would have to be something catastrophic for me not to do it. Because I feel that good with leg training and everything I'm doing. And, you know what? I just realized that I'm a bodybuilder, and I tried to take 2 years off, and my life is not the same without it. I'm not as focused on every other aspect of my life. I'm not as regimented. I'm not as organized. I'm not the person I want to be when I'm not competing. And that's a depressing, shitty commentary to hear, because some people are like, he's another one of those washed up losers that, you know, can't focus on anything else in life but bodybuilding. But well, if you know me, I've been a bodybuilder since I was 14 years old.
I think it happens to the best of us, Jose. I mean, I'm firmly an amateur, and I've been bodybuilding for sort of 13, 14 years, and really, I probably should have a bit of time away from it, but I can't prize myself away from it. I love it.
Exactly. It becomes a way of life. It makes you feel good. It's not necessarily my identity. It's not what I identify with, but it is who makes me a better person inside. Like, I'm able to feel better about myself when I'm focused on training, when I'm focused on getting better for something, you know? So yeah, it is what it is, man. That I love it, and I feel better doing it, so I'm gonna do it.
So does that mean Anth is going to join you on stage in New York, in the New York Pro?
Yeah,
I would love
matching trunks.
Yeah, that was actually the goal when I turned pro, was to compete with Raymond and Flex, but that didn't go to plan, unfortunately, with the injuries and stuff. So yeah, I was kind of just getting started, wasn't, and it kind of went tits up. But hey, shit happens.
You did
man.
2 pro shows, right? You did.
Yeah,
Toronto?
and I was off both as well. So I was off at Body Power. I think that's like 7 to 8 or something like that. Toronto, you were at Toronto as well, weren't you? Because that's like, well, no, hold on, let me think. Where did I meet you, Jose? Let's be careful here. It was some expo.
I think it was at a brothel.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Where was it? Was it Fibo?
Fibo?
I think it was Fibo. You with iForce?
No.
Yeah, you were. You were Dusty. Must have been Fibo.
I thought I met you at the British Grand Prix in England when you won, and I competed in the pro division.
I don't think we actually met then, no.
Well, I met you.
I must have been that hungry that I forgot.
Yeah, you were all.
that was a long weekend, man. That was when Bonac was in the 202, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny enough, we were just discussing this evening in the gym. Funny enough.
Oh, that show
I think I met you like officially, properly, like where I could actually smile and not feel like I was going to die.
Yeah.
I think it was at Fibo. You were on the booth with Dusty, and we kind of hit it off there. And it sounds gay. We exchanged numbers.
It was a
exchanged numbers, and we had a date.
He gave me a hug.
But no, I remember you were out in Toronto, and you were like, "Fucking do this, do that." I was like, "Man, I'm off. I feel like shit. It's like it's not going to happen today." And I think I got 10th out of 30, which wasn't too. But I actually beat Sean back then. I think Sean got Sean Cleary did. So he's come a long way. Shit. He got like 12th or something. Yeah.
Claim to fame.
130 pounds back then.
I think he was like 110. Nah, he's freaky, man. I remember seeing him backstage. He's tiny, isn't he? I was like, what the fuck is that? It's like fucking shit swelling everywhere. It's like genetic freak.
He's like honestly 5 feet tall.
Yeah, he is actually shorter than me. What are you, Jose? 5'1". You're 5'1", yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm just under 5'4", and he's at least 3.5 inches shorter than me.
Yeah, he is real short, but he's a little freak, isn't he? That's a compliment, by the way, Sean.
Yeah, he's gonna do well, and he's like 38. He's got some good years in front of him too.
This is all making me feel much better about being old.
I was going to bring that into the conversation, actually, Dan.
I'm 36, so
36.
Yeah, so I'm not dead yet.
But I'm pretty sure it's like it's miles on the clock, though, and I think Dan's got a lot of miles on the clock.
Fuck off, mate.
So Dan, when are you going to go down the enhanced route then?
Wow, I don't know. When I finish my CrossFit degree, I might.
Someone said that you started some muscle tech.
Yeah, I did
Stacked with
that and
cybogenics.
Noratine from LA Muscle.
Jose used to be sponsored by Muscle Tech when he had that crazy hair, didn't you, Jose? Can you remember that?
I did.
I
I
remember
did.
that.
That was one of the
Well, get some
greatest
pictures for that
things.
for the podcast. Jose's crazy hair.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'll tell
You'll
you
know-
a quick story about Muscle Tech. They signed me pretending like they didn't know anything about me. They're like, well, we don't know anything. I'm like, I won nationals, USA. I won everything there is to win. You know exactly who I am. And they're like, well, we'll give you a chance to do the before and after. And we'll give you $1,000 for your before and after photo. And I'm like, all right, I want to get signed though. I need a sponsorship. And they're like, all right, well, we'll give you a sponsorship where we just pay for your expenses. And I'm like, okay, is that limited? And they go, and they thought I was going to suck. They were hoping I was going to suck. We'll give you a $10,000 bonus if you win any show. So hoping that I would not win. So I went in 2 years, I did 11 shows. Yeah, and they had to pay for every one of them. And then, and then here's the kicker. My last year, I won 2 shows in 8 days. So they had to send me a giant check. And with that check came a letter that said, we no longer require your services.
Oh.
Yeah. And I tried to renegotiate. I'm like, listen, you guys are wasting money playing this game. I'm like, you can just sign me to a reasonable deal, but you tried to play this game and it ended up costing them. So it was a beautiful story.
Someone got fired over that shit.
Yeah. I got fired because I was too good.
Yeah, no, but someone at their office who was making these deals, making the worst deals ever.
Yeah, well, that was right when they had a complete turnaround. They fired everyone. They fired like 12 athletes they got rid of. They only kept like Jay and Branch. It was crazy. All of us.
So that's mostly your fault then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely. But they chose to get rid of the bodybuilders and they signed some like reality star, some guy Ronnie from the Jersey Shore.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Sick.
it was stupid. But
So
I
are
think
these
that-
before and after pictures out there somewhere, Jose?
oh yeah.
Oh, I'm on
People
Google.
send them to me all the time.
I'm on Google tonight looking for
I'll
those
get that
in
one
there.
flashed up, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm already on it.
Just Google Jose Raymond curly hair.
Oh, Jose Raymond before and after. I broke my leg and I put on like 90 pounds. And when they took the before picture, I was down to like 240. And then the second picture was like right after a show. And I was, under 200 pounds.
Are you allowed to take the before part, like photo? Because people do this on Instagram where they take the before photo when they're 12. And then
Picture of
they
a
like,
picture of a
is there like
spoon.
a timeline? And then they say like, fuck genetics. It's like, but you were 12.
Yeah.
Are you allowed a timeline or just anything?
No. In fact, they made me.
Did you have the
sign
newspaper like this?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one. That was the one. Proof.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
They made me sign something that said I wouldn't cut my hair.
No fucking way.
Yeah, because it had to be, you had to show that it was me.
I can't
Right.
You
find
gotta say sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, really see the hair. It's crazy.
I can't find the before and afters.
It's all right. We'll find it in editing. Post-production will take care of that.
Yeah, you can put it in there. Good stuff.
Whilst you're waiting,
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, aside from like competing, do you have any like new business ventures at all? Following I know you said you might go back to competing, but have you got anything sort of in the pipeline now, coming to the end of the career?
I was working on a gym. I ended up having a foul partner. So I'm out of that situation right now, but ultimately that is my goal, is I want to have my own facility. So I'm definitely.
I think you should be the
still-
first, Jose. I think you should be the first.
Yeah.
Ultra Flex.
Ultra flex.
Ultra
man.
Flex. I would love to. I got to talk to your guy.
You need to speak to the
You
chief.
heard it here first, Charlie, in the mix. There he is. Handsome bastard.
He's a
That
fucking
was
handsome
my
bastard
first
there, isn't he?
Olympia.
Hey, it's not a bad haircut.
Look at that.
No, that's not the haircut, man. Jesus, if you see the real haircut,
Yeah.
he looks like some
Wasn't it? I thought it was
Mexican
like
drug
fucking
lord.
red or something.
Nah, wait till you see it.
Oh,
I'll
man.
find it. I'll WhatsApp you
That's
if you don't
not
find it.
him.
There's one. Right
Where-
here,
where's
the
it?
exclusive. No, below, down.
He's just picking the one with the big arms.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're big in every picture.
Yeah, you motherfucker.
No idea. Anyway,
Don't worry. There's
I've
some
said this before. Like, you know, I've seen some big arms. I've seen Ronnie. I've seen Phil, and I would definitely see yours as like the biggest arm I've ever seen in real life.
I always
The
had
height of
big
your
arms.
head. Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, that was my sister has big arms. My whole family has big arms. My brother's 52 years old. He's 175 pounds, and he's still got probably 19-inch arms.
Yeah, I hit them already.
Pretty crazy. That's a genetic thing. I do back and my arms grow. I do chest and my arms grow. I need to learn how to train.
Don't we all?
What else you guys got?
questions, lads.
Fish and chips?
Jose, so obviously going back to like talk about Flex Lewis and stuff. What's your thoughts on him going up to the open weight now?
I love
He's
Flex.
He's not though, is he?
Well, not
Well,
this year, given.
He's taking time off. He's taking care of some injuries. I think he's got as good a chance as anyone. The thing with Flex, I always say, is he doesn't have to be the biggest guy on stage. He doesn't have to be that crazy freak. He just has to be Flex Lewis, and he finds a way to win. He's more polished than everyone on stage. Just the way he carries himself, the way he walks on stage, from his transitions to his haircut to the way he looks at the judges, he has mastered the art of being a bodybuilder. If you ask me who's the best bodybuilder on the planet, it's Flex Lewis. Who has the best physique, who has the biggest physique, you could argue that, but who is the best bodybuilder that knows how to win under any circumstance? It's Flex Lewis, hands down. Who knows how to carry himself on and off the stage? Who knows how to answer a question, how to captivate an audience, how to everything. Who's the biggest star in bodybuilding? It is Flex Lewis, hands down, without question. So can he win the Olympia? Yeah, because all those things matter. All those things matter. They come into, he fucking mesmerizes the judges. Like you could be next to Big Ramy and all you can look at is Flex because the way he is.
It's because he's Welsh.
It's all because he's Welsh.
Yeah, do you know what it is though? Just it's nice to hear a fellow competitor speak so highly of another competitor, because nowadays all people do is just talk shit online.
Yeah,
well,
well, they're all.
We don't
shit.
even have to go back to that stupid press conference that happened at the 212. It was like, come on, man, it's like supposed to be professional athletes.
Listen, if anyone should be, I say this all the time, if anyone should be sour about Flex Lewis, it's me. Because I've lost more money through my career than I would dare to dream of due to Flex Lewis. You know how many times I come in second to Flex Lewis, whether it's in Atlantic City or Colorado, Korea, the Olympia, fucking all over the place. He's stolen a lot of money from me, that motherfucker. But I love him. I love him for it, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have reached the levels that I did. And I learned a lot. He's a lot younger than me, but I look up to him, and I learned a lot from him. And we created a great friendship through the years where, we talk whenever there's a situation within the industry, or he would reach out to me and get my thoughts, and I would do the same. And how do we handle certain things? A lot of people don't know this stuff. Like, as we were growing with the division, as the division was growing and we were trying to make it what it is today, we talked a lot on the phone on what do we do to bring more eyes on the 212 division? What do we do? How do we make this a bigger deal. Well, one of them was, well, when we show up to a show, you can't show up in your tracksuit a mess. Show up in a suit. Show up when you're going to the gala after the Olympia, show up in a suit. Show up looking respectful, show up professional. And that was a big deal, things like that. And how do you handle yourself during an interview? How do you, don't talk about certain shit. Don't, certain guys would do an interview and say, I'm gonna smoke Flex Lewis. He don't have any legs, or you shitting me? No, I would say, I love the guy. He's unbelievable. And I personally think I have attributes that he doesn't. He's got attributes that I don't. But, we leave it in the judge's hands. I never get angry at Flex for a judge's decision.
Unfortunately, though, you notice like these days, social media, the press that people get to see is the stuff where they're talking shit. And I think that's been applauded too much. And it's created that environment now where it's kind of normal, I guess.
Yeah, well, these guys can backpedal all they want. They said it. If you're gonna say it, stand by it, stick to it. Don't backpedal.
Yeah, back up your bullshit.
Right. I don't say anything that I can't stand by. I do interviews multiple times a week. Do these podcasts. I'm always running my mouth, but I don't say anything that I can't back up, that I can't be proud of and say, yeah, I did. I said that. Like I know all these guys personally. I know Brandon Curry. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life. I love him. I still going to tell you, I think Phil can beat him. I think Phil will beat him. That's just an opinion. Who do I think is a better guy? I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm saying as a bodybuilder, what they both bring, the two of the best on earth. I think Phil can win. I'm going to back it up.
If it helps, I don't think Brandon's going to watch this.
No, I told him to. I'm going to forward it to him. He's got plenty of time on his hands over there. But yeah, you walk a fine line because bodybuilders are sensitive. And if someone is saying, a lot of people left David Henry out when they're saying they're top 5, top 6, they're leaving his name out. And I never do. And I can understand why he would be a little frustrated that, a year ago, I think they placed him 11th. That was a catastrophe. I don't know if they just forgot he was there or what happened, but he didn't look like an 11th place guy to me. And hopefully he gets some redemption this year and gets the look he deserves. If there's something really wrong with his physique, then place him where he belongs. But I don't foresee that happen. I see David coming up and doing really well. And, I used to listen to these interviews. I used to, there are certain people, and you can tell when someone has a gripe with you, or you can tell when someone just has an opinion, and that's their opinion. I would often get, I wouldn't be named for the top 5 at the Olympia. And I'm like, in 10 years, only once was I not in the top 5. And I was 6th that year. So how can you not have me in the top 5?
That's amazing, though. I can stop you there. That's an amazing achievement.
Yeah, it was. It was something I'm very proud of. But I didn't think of it. I thought about winning it. I'm like, I got to win this shit. So 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th, it all sucked because it wasn't one. It was a tough pill to swallow. Constantly banging your head against the wall. But, I also realized that it's a business and you create a following and you create fans, and the fans aren't stupid. The fans appreciate the work you put in and they appreciate your physique. And I had to always look at the bright side. You know, I had an amazing experience. I got to see the world and meet zillions of people that really appreciated what I did. So it wasn't all bad. It would have been nice to get one title, but you know, I'll have to get by with the Arnold Classic title.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah, it's not a bad one I have. That was the Ohio one as well, wasn't it? Not kind of one of the Euro ones now.
I had a good career. I had 12 pro wins.
Get it back in, Gaines.
I think only 2 guys in the 212 have more wins than me, and that's Flex and David. Or I think David is tied with me.
Oh, well, that sets it up for next year then, doesn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, it does. We'll see. You know what? That would be awesome. I would love to get on stage with David one more time.
I'm gonna snippet that as the highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could clickbait it. Jose calls out David.
Yeah.
He'll love that. David and I are close, so he knows.
And says Brandon Curry's a loser.
Anth, so let's ask Anth, what will it take to get you back on stage?
Not having a herniated C6. Probably the same procedure that Flex is having now. Some stem cell stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, the right side doesn't fire the same. So, yeah, I think we're done, unfortunately. Again, I'm like 43. 43.
43.
So, you know, being realistic, you know, how much further could I have went anyway? Because I was banging away a long time before I even got a pro card. I wasn't like you, like turning them down. Like, yeah, I don't want to get that. I'll take it next year. I was like trying to get that shit for a long time. So yeah, being realistic. I'm pretty old now, pretty beat up. Do I go and get stem cell and have a midlife crisis and try and get like the van outside the Goals gym?
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I'll come with
you.
you.
Know, it is really frustrating because we've got this crazy gym now. You know, things are starting to fall into place in other areas, but we're injured as shit. So hey, it is what it is, man.
Men's physique it is.
Yeah, I ain't got the hair for that, so obviously.
Classic.
Yeah, so basically I've got to get stem cells.
Yeah, I've got stuff.
Hair transplant and some new teeth. So
yeah, you and I
have the same
hair.
Yeah, we've got you're on Team Bally now, Jose. But
yeah,
should have saved some.
I feel better looking.
Turn around, see if you've got that little thing at the back for your eyes. Look at the action man, like.
Oh, the hot dog.
Oh, the little kind
the
of
hot dog buns.
Yeah, you do actually suit the Team Bally look, actually, Raymond.
Yeah. So, Anth, I got to get over there and train. How's the gym going? You said you just got new stuff.
Well, we just reopened from the lockdown on Wednesday. No, hold on, let me think here. When did we reopen? Last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday. So yeah, we've been real busy. We've got a few more pieces of kit on the way. But are you still coming over for the FitX?
He hasn't mentioned anything. I planned to. I told him I was.
Yeah, get over here, man. We'll have a Ultraflex weekend.
How close is that to your gym?
It's Liverpool, guys. Help me out here. Geography.
3 hours.
It's not close.
2, 3.
Liverpool to Durham.
3 hours.
Yeah, we'll get the Ultraflex chopper. We'll fire it up.
No, what I'll do is I'll fly over there for the show or the expo, and then I'll come up your way for like 3 days.
Yeah, we'll do some. We'll go to Scotland again.
We'll
some castles.
Yeah.
No, I should have a new place by then, so you can hang out at my place and we can drink some beer and shit. Because last time, why couldn't I drink last time? I think I was like organising the show and stuff, and I couldn't drink.
No, because you're
fucking
diabetic.
No, I can still drink it just because I'm diabetic. It's fine.
You get all stupid drinking.
It works better.
Hey, let's not go there, man. I've got some drunken videos of you I could post online, man.
Oh, those are great ones.
Yeah, still on the camera roll.
People don't know my antics.
We won't go to the part where we had to throw him into the back of Chris Bailey's van. He was so drunk.
Please elaborate.
I'll share those privately.
I was dehydrated from the competition.
Yeah, you were off season at about fucking 240.
Yeah. So
He's in the pub like with a bright orange Max Muscle t-shirt. The piss as a fart. Yeah, we won't go into the rest of it. We'll leave it there.
That was
It was
great.
quite funny. Give me another whiskey.
with Photo Jesus.
Yeah,
How's he
Photo
doing? Do you
Jesus,
see
Chris.
him much, Chris?
I haven't seen a lot of Chris, to be fair. Last time he was here, he did some pictures for the website of the gym when it was all nice and tidy and clean, and some nice images for the website. But I'll speak to him now and again on WhatsApp. He's busy. I think he's just opened another studio, actually, another studio gym.
Oh wow, good for him.
So yeah, Chris is doing okay.
That's awesome.
We'll all try and have a catch up when you actually come over. I mean, when is Fit Expo? It's January, March. Is it April?
April, I think.
So it's not that far away. Once we get the Christmas carry out of the way, it's going to fly by. So
We'll schedule our Bash Bros catch up, I guess, up that way then.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
we'll do it from Ultraflex.
Do you drive there? Yeah, 3 hours.
Nah,
It's-
really? You see? Oh,
It's
And you
6
see, man-
hours for me.
I'm sure you've been in the car with me, Jose, before.
Yeah, it's the worst experience ever.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah,
probably
fuck.
get the train.
Fuck that.
You have two lanes, and people
Yeah.
go 1,000 miles an hour once they have that opening, and you were sleeping half the time, snoring.
Oh, yeah, it was quite funny. So
Have you not seen him send a screenshot to you to see how big the text he has is?
Oh yeah, he's blind.
Yeah, he's got it on grandma
what the
mode.
fuck's this pick on Anth that evening? Fuck off. Right, I'm going to post those videos on Instagram tonight, Jose.
All
The
right,
one where you're
good.
doing a bikini walk in the restaurant. I've got that as well.
Oh yeah, that was good. I didn't know
Anth is going to get a letter from the DVLA now next week saying he's going to redo his test.
Or, let's have a think of some other ones. We've got some in Birmingham posing with his shirt off, fully off season, sticking his
I
stomach
must have
out.
looked good.
Yeah, I've still got all those. My blackmail.
I had a nice belly. What else you got? You got any questions that don't involve?
Yeah, let's get some good questions, guys.
drinking.
Fucking hell, that's stupid. Sorry.
I love that guy.
This question is: marry, shag, or avoid Putin, Trump, or Boris?
Who's Vladimir Putin,
Yeah,
Trump, or Boris?
our guy.
Who would I marry? Trump.
Yeah, you got to pick one to marry, one to shag, which is have sex with, one to avoid. I didn't make the question, you know. It's not really going to end. There's no right answer.
No, I'd marry Trump because I know he's got some
Guys.
money.
I don't think Putin's short of a bit of cash either.
No,
Yeah, I know. But what are the other options? Shag and what?
marry, shag, and avoid. You can just ditch one, basically.
Oh, all right. I would shag Boris and avoid Putin.
Yeah,
As far as I know, Putin poisons people and shit.
yeah. He's probably got uranium on his dick or something.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, you don't get involved with that.
Yeah.
The other one that I got was was DMT, and
DMT?
have you ever considered experimenting with hallucinogens like Mr. Dorian Yates seems to be doing?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm very open with this conversation. I've tried many things and they don't work on me. I don't get results from them. I don't get what people see in them. I don't see it. You know, I've tried some things and I don't get high from them. And I know they're real because other people are using them and they're all whacked out and I don't get them. So I think in order to even get anything out of it, I'd have to take a dangerous dose of it. And I'm not willing to try that.
So is that like a pre-workout? It says 1 scoop, so I'll take 2.
Yes. and it would mess me up. Yeah, the only thing I really enjoy is having a couple of drinks. That lightens me up, loosens me up. I have
Couple.
fun.
We've heard.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the DMT, that's a good question. That's a big Dorian thing? He likes the DMT?
Well,
Ayahuasca?
Yeah, ayahuasca. Yeah. So, well, I think he at one point was doing like a thing where you can go and do DMT like with him, like a retreat.
Yeah, he's got a retreat.
Yeah.
He actually invited me to his birthday party and invited me to go and try. But nah, if
Do you
I had that now,
you train first, like do some like hack squats and then do DMT, or like
we were just going to take the blood and guts pull over to where is it? Like fucking wherever it is in Brazil or somewhere. I can't remember where it is now.
yeah, in the rainforest.
Yeah, just do DMT and pullovers. I actually lost a finger yesterday. Was it yesterday? Saturday. You know the cam on the chain on the cam.
Yeah, the
I
kidney.
got my finger like jammed in the pullover, and it was like literally an inch off like losing the finger.
That
And
makes it even
way
more
off course here.
hardcore.
Yeah,
It's a pretty
and I
cool,
finished the back session.
pretty cool story though, isn't it? You're like,
So how do you sign up? How do you sign up for this retreat where I can do DMT with Dorian?
Yeah, I don't know, but if Bash Bros could come and film it, that would be sick.
We just
Yeah,
stand there.
yeah.
He has like a couple of years, doesn't he? But he did say he was going to have one for his birthday party. He's going to have a big ayahuasca get together over there. So
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. My dad's done DMT and stuff, and he sat me down when I was quite young and said, "You're too fucked up to do these sorts of drugs, so stay away." So I'm going to take my dad's advice on DMT and stuff. I think some people never return, and I'd be that guy like wearing like shopping bags, shouting at traffic like forever, you know?
Yeah, I think that would be me too. I'm a little afraid of that stuff.
Yeah, so I'm going to just stay here in my little world and just not make it any worse for myself.
Yeah, you and I are a lot alike. I feel like I'm already in a DMT trip most of my life.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
need to
kind of
make
why I
it
didn't want to
any
do it
worse.
because it brings all of the shit forward. And I'm like, oh, that'll just leave that. Part.
Yeah, I didn't spend my whole fucking life burying it for some fucking plan
Right.
to bring it back.
It's in the closet for a reason.
Yeah. I don't care if Michael Jackson delivers it back.
Bring me some more questions. Hurry up.
Hurry up. Sorry.
Come on, Dan. Shit.
That one's just rude.
Was it a short joke?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce water?
Water.
Say it the Bostonian way.
Water.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
You come to realize that Bob
A.
isn't very
Water.
serious.
I fucking nailed
Water.
it. I think. Who's stronger than Anth or Jose? You've trained together before. Who kicked
I
whose
was
ass?
injured. I was injured.
Oh,
I was actually injured. Actually, hold
I'll
on.
tell you this. I think Anth is stronger on pulling movements, deadlifts, rows, and I'd say I'm stronger in pressing movements.
Yeah, you're
And
free
he's
strength and
clearly
presses.
stronger in legs now because I have no hips.
Yeah, this is my claim to fame. Actually, I've kicked yours and Evan's ass on legs
Yeah.
at Powerhouse.
But
This
there
is
was
a
a-
funny story before I go. So I was over there for surgery with Dr.
Silverman.
Silverman. So we were doing legs the day before. So I was like, yeah, best take it easy. It's surgery tomorrow. And Evan likes all that high rep shit, doesn't he? Like we did safety bar squats and
Yeah.
high rep leg presses and lunges and shit while in the middle of our Jose was checking out all the chicks in the gym. And the next day, I had the surgery, and the next day, I had to go to the pharmacy for the painkillers. I said, what do you have over there, like Percocet or some shit? It
Yeah.
was real strong anyway there. So it was like downhill. Like you know, the leg DOMs couldn't walk, and I got to the pharmacy, forgot the passport, so I couldn't collect the script because that's how the Americans say the script. So I had to walk all the way back again, and then walk down again and back again. So yeah, it was worth it just to get the leg session in with Raymond and Evan. At the time, I think Evan was like 310, wasn't he? I remember.
Yeah,
just
he's
before he tore the quad.
massive.
And you could see like fucking veins through his animal sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Not like a t-shirt. I was like, what the fuck? And he did actually step on the scale, and like I think he was like 310 or 315.
Yeah. Evan
Yeah.
is humongous. People don't understand how big he is until you see him in person.
Yeah,
he's
he's a big human.
tall. He's tall and wide and just crazy arms, crazy legs.
I do
saw him
remember
not
watching
too long.
that. At the end, you all did like 50 rep sets on leg press. Was that what you were
Yeah,
doing?
it was some crazy high reps
Yeah.
leg press.
Yeah, I watched that and thought, yeah, no, I'm right.
That's probably why you got probably why you got small legs, Dan.
Actually, you would love that gym, Dan. That's awesome, Jim.
Oh, it's the best.
The
Yeah,
only
it's got
reason.
loads of old school kit in there. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Who else has got some questions? Because obviously mine have been really shit.
I got another one about it's like the golden era of mine. What would you think would happen between competing against Ronnie Coleman and Dorian Yates? Who do you think would
Fucking
win?
hell.
Well, they competed against each other for years, and Dorian dominated them. But the best version of Dorian against the best version of Ronnie, you'd have to say Ronnie would win. He'd be, 20 pounds bigger. Yeah, I mean, say Ronnie.
Anth's heard enough.
He is.
It's very close.
Ronnie 2003 against Dorian 95, 94.
I actually like Ronnie 2000 and the first one, sorry, 98. Oh, minus the gyno. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 99.
Well, 2003, I'm just saying he was 287 pounds on stage with that crazy glutes, back. He looked almost fat. He was so big. All the muscle. He looked like a fat guy until he started hitting poses. Yeah, I mean, they're the same height. And Ronnie would carry 20 to 25 pounds more of muscle. That would be, it'd be hard to beat.
Everyone else is just quiet because it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
I know that was definitely the wrong answer.
Whoever's asked the question has launched their phone like out the window. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting hate mail.
So similar to that sort of question, what's the who's the craziest physique you've ever sort of stood next to or seen in person?
Wow. I would say there's two of them. In 2005, I was in the overall at the USA's with Phil Heath. And back then, he was only like 205. He was like 205, 206, something like that. And he was so crazy dugout that he looked 230, 240. He looked huge. He was bigger than everyone. Just, it was the first time I saw something that I'd never seen before, Someone I knew was a clear future special physique. And then obviously Flex Lewis, I got to stand next to him every year for 10 years. And there was never a year where I didn't shake my head and say something, whether it's his hamstring. And something about Flex, each show he would bring something new. It wouldn't be drastic, but he would bring something up that, and that's very commendable as someone who's so successful, yet continues to come back better every time. Whether, I noticed one year where his hamstrings really came in crazy. And, then his pecs all of a sudden, he always had sort of flat pecs. And then one year he hits a front lat spread and his pecs were full and round. And, his delts got better. His arms got more full, more side, he was getting more control over his abs. There was a while where he'd hit an ab and thigh and he didn't have abs. And then, he realized it and went to the drawing board and figured out how to have abs. So, yeah, I mean, Flex and Phil Heath are the two. And it's no surprise that they're 2 7-time champions that are, in the group, in the era of conditioning, they are two of the most conditioned people I've ever seen in my life. So I'm a big fan of conditioning. When you can see every little last thing, that's impressive to me.
Yeah. So I think this has brought us to the final bit we do on our podcast every week. And we ask our guests, it might put you in a bit of an awkward spot, but That's a good answer.
Okay.
It's not. It's normally like so 5 top tips. It can be anything. So for people watching, it can be bodybuilding related. It can be anything. Like kind
Could
of.
be anal related.
It can be anal related.
Yeah.
It can be anything.
So the answer is anal. I say if you want a long-lasting, loving relationship, you gotta have anal. That's the answer. 5 tips. 5 tips is be
That can
consistent.
be one. That's fine. We've had stupider answers than that, so
Yeah.
that can be one.
So
You
he
say
knows
that's
one.
stupid. That's a great answer.
Well, just I'm just saying that's like normal.
Not if you don't like it.
It's not gonna get.
Not if you don't like getting bummed.
You didn't
I would
specify which way round that was happening.
Consistency is the number one key to bodybuilding success. You can't do it for a few months or even a few years and expect success. You hear these young kids, they look like they never trained, and they're like, well, I want to get a pro card. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you got years to go, like years and
Ryan.
years.
Sorry.
So consistency, learn, be a student of the sport. You need to learn every last aspect of everything, of nutrient timing, of how to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, training, learn your body, learn, I'm not going to recover the same way that you do. There was a thing about, how different are Ronnie Coleman and Dorian Yates. Dorian said he got his best results when he only trained 4 times a week. Ronnie Coleman trained every day, twice a day. And it's hard to explain, but they were both unbelievable. So it wasn't wrong for either one of them, but you need to know your body. Don't go online and learn and go by what Dorian did or what Ronnie did. You got to figure out your own thing. And that way, if you get a coach, you can give feedback to a coach. You can tell that coach what works for you, and you can work together. It's never good to have a dictatorship of a coach and say, this is exactly what you're going to do, because then you could melt. You could, get fat, whatever. You're not going to get the exact results you are looking for if you can't give feedback. So those are the, and honestly, to be hugely successful at anything, you have to have an addiction for it. It's got to be more than passion. It's got to be, to be at the top of the pro level. Unfortunately, other things need to suffer. Unfortunately, relationships suffer. Maybe you don't clean your house. Maybe you don't clean your car. Maybe you don't have time for friends or family. When you have this mindset, it's like an addiction to be so involved. And bodybuilding is one of those things, man. It's 24 hours a day. And when you're not training, you're thinking about training. When you're not eating, you're thinking about your next meal. It is all encompassing, all consuming. And that's the only way you're going to be successful with it. The people who do have balance, people are like, well, look at Brandon Curry. He's got 4 kids. Well, he lives in another country. That's how he balances it.
Yeah. That's a good way to balance it.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You do the best you can to balance it, but if you really want to be the best, you have to be addicted to it. You have to be all in or not. And that's why it's a hard decision to make when you say you're going to come back, you're going to compete. Can I be all in?
Yeah.
To shut off everything else and focus just on my selfish endeavors of getting back. But guess what? You only live one time. This life is yours. So if that's what's going to make you feel good and that's what's going to get you through your days and make you feel right, then do it. By all means, do it. And that's all I've known for 30 years. So yeah, I want to get back to doing that. I want to be selfish as fuck.
We want to
Just me.
fucking see it. We want to see it.
Yeah, me too. So that's it. Those are my tips. I don't know if that was 5 of them. We'll throw in anal for the 5th one.
Yeah.
And,
Again,
I think
that's
we're
1 of
good.
5.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Love it. Okay,
Anth
well,
knows what I'm talking about. That's why I got them all liquored up that one time. Yeah.
I didn't force him.
He was limping for a week.
I was going to ask.
Yeah,
who-
that's why I was limited to the pharmacy. It wasn't the.
I was gonna ask who the bitch was and who the butch was, but I won't go there.
Oh, just sick in my mouth a little bit there.
You were sticking your mouth, but Jose just like, yeah, sweet potato. Okay. Normal.
It's fucking good. It's watermelon. Look at this. You guys
That's
have
watermelon.
watermelon over there?
Yeah, we're not some kind of like third world country.
Yeah,
We've
man.
got water, we've got watermelon, we've got
we only eat
electricity.
deer. We only eat deer from our castles.
I thought you guys just had fish and chips and crumpets and shit.
and sheep.
Yeah. That's literally what's on my diet plan from Anth every day.
Crumpets.
Yeah,
What the
crumpet
hell's a crumpet?
and fish and it's like a
Depends
shit.
what you're talking about.
Muffin.
Could be a
Actually,
female
muffin,
kind
yeah.
of female body
A
part.
crumpet could be a bit of ass, but it's like a shit bagel with holes, like with I don't know, like bubble holes in it.
Bubble holes.
Okay,
No one
bubble.
fucking eats them unless you're like over 60. No one fucking eats them.
All right,
I
that's a
eat
great
them, so.
description.
Well, exactly. No one under 16.
Yeah. I think that's why I like the British people so much. Everyone has such a calm, cool demeanor because your food fucking sucks. It is just terrible. I've eaten everywhere over there. And the food, I went to breakfast. I tried to find something. Even the nicest steakhouse I went, the food just, it's not an important thing to you guys, huh?
We're
Yeah,
too
just chooses the Americans, that's all.
Where did you eat, Jose?
Oh.
Bill's
Where did I eat?
Cafe.
Anth, where did I eat?
Let me think. Actually, I
that
took you.
restaurant was really nice.
I took you to a decent sushi place, but obviously, again, it's probably better in the States. Sushi. I don't eat sushi, so it was like nearly midnight. I was like, Cozy was like, oh, I want to go for some sushi. I was like, fuck, I've got to be polite. And I had to be up at like 4 a.m. in the morning to get the show ready and stuff. I was like rolling on like fresh air. So when you said it was shit, oh fuck, it was a waste of time.
You know, it was a good time. I always have a good time, but the food is just not great.
Yeah, we'll make a better effort next time.
I went to this fancy steakhouse with sauce, and same thing. It was just like pay a lot of money too. The steak was like just okay. It wasn't mind blowing. You know, you have a $300 dinner. It's you expect it to be really good.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. When I went to America, the food was better.
It was better, right?
Yeah, it was better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Unbelievable food.
But you need to go. You need to go to someone's house. You need to go to someone's mom's house. That's what you need.
Yes.
You need
Anth didn't invite me to his mom's house. He was too ashamed of me.
It's my new boyfriend.
Just hide all the alcohol and then you might be all right.
Yeah.
I came out then, so. Yeah, well,
You
next
said I
time,
wasn't-
when you're in Liverpool, next time you're here, we will make sure you get some good food.
Some
Goes
good
in.
food.
When you're in Scotland, you can have haggis.
Oh, fuck that shit. Man. That's horrible.
Faggots.
How are you going to explain that to him?
Haggis. Haggis is like where they cook it in a sheep's stomach, and it's like minced up sheep, but in the sheep's stomach, and they cook it, and then you like pop it. And it's it. Oh, it's great.
That sounds awesome. I want to try that.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
All
On that bombshell.
All right.
That's
Well-
it. Jose's coming to my mum's house. I'm gonna make it happen.
All right. She cooks haggis?
Oh, she will for you, Jose.
All right. That sounds great. All right. Well, It's been a pleasure, guys. Thanks for
Thanks.
having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
coming, bud.
Bash Brothers. We'll do this again sometime.
On
When,
your comeback.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
And make sure you have more questions. I like
Yeah.
answering the questions.
You took
You
so
will
long
realize
after-
that Bash Bros is just a mishmash of. Just watch
Yeah.
a couple of the other ones, and you'll understand why there isn't many questions.
Oh,
But
yeah,
that's a good thing.
yeah,
So-
no, you answered. You went down the rabbit holes. That's what people listen to for this podcast. People
Yeah.
listening for like the bits in between. They've heard how much you lift and how massive you are. They're looking for the
Exactly.
bits in between.
Yeah,
I like talking
agree.
nonsense.
Yeah, that's what we're in. Thanks again, man. And Anth, thanks for joining us. Convincing
Yeah, thanks,
man.
Anth.
I
Thank
think
you,
we
Anth.
would have
Yeah.
got a cold shoulder if we weren't for our hookup, Mr. Bales.
Nah, Hosey's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I would have come on. Now that I know you guys, I'll avoid your messages. But I get messages every day to come on podcasts. Ever since this goddamn pandemic, everyone's got a podcast. So
Yeah, it's true.
it's the only way to communicate is doing these.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got to see you guys, how messy your bedroom is. And the other guy's sitting in the bathroom. He looks like he's sitting on a toilet. Yeah, the young kid looks like he's 14 in his mom's kitchen. You guys are, this is a great setup.
You've nailed it. You've figured it out.
Hey, at least I went all out with the thing. That's just hiding a lot of rubbish behind there. That's why.
Yeah,
Shit
you have a
behind it,
nice
so.
backdrop.
Yeah, but this
I
is
could've sworn you-
my office. This is my office. It's just my
That's a
missus.
mess.
It's
My
not, it's a
missus
bathroom.
has decided.
Use the Swifter, clean that shit up.
Yeah, totally.
You just crushed Jack's dreams.
Oh, Jack is the dirtiest bastard of all you guys. You can just tell. Look at him.
Oh, fuck.
He's talking about someone shaving his head. He ain't shaving his head. He fucking he couldn't shave it himself. Come on. I do this all myself. It's pretty handiwork.
McNabb has been roasted.
Well, there's a first for everything.
Clean that fucking room up, man.
Yeah, clean that room up, brother.
I don't know where to
It's more than
start.
you need at your
We want
mom's
to see a
house.
muscle tech before and after of the room, please.
I want to
You have
see
to be holding the
posters on
paper
your
as well.
walls. Yeah.
Jose won't mind because it's the dog's bedroom.
Oh, it is.
So
What kind
I've
of
got like
dog?
a 6-foot dog crate in it for my Cane Corso. So
Oh, I love those.
yeah, it's
those are
fucking
beautiful.
monster. So
What's he weigh? 140?
no, like he's only 8 months old, so he weighs like 90.
80?
Yeah, like 80.
90?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster.
Those are gorgeous dogs. Good for you.
I'm sorry to hear about yours the other day, man. Unless you have
Yeah,
a dog,
thank
you
you.
don't know about that shit. Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
rest in
almost
peace,
12
Chewy.
years old. Amazing dog. Beautiful. I was
Amazing.
blessed to have him. So, as Anth knows, dogs, they unfortunately don't
Yeah.
last forever. They're here
Yeah, I
for
was
a good
lucky
time.
enough to meet Chewy as well when I went to Boston. He was awesome.
Yeah.
But he was in the back, fucking slapping all over my head and everything.
Yeah. He
Fucking
loved
huge,
you.
man. He's awesome.
Yeah. He got to tag you too. All right,
I'm out of
guys.
here, man.
All right,
Thanks,
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 man.
Rosie. I'll catch you soon.
Thanks, you.
All
Thank
right.
you, guys.
Man.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Take it
Bye-bye.
easy.